Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today doing a little bit different because this week we have this mid-autumn festival going on and they launched a new ship. So this video will have the Fenyang ship review in it, but before we dive onto that, I want to cover the shop because there's a couple of things I want to say about the shop and then we'll get into the Fenyang. Sound good? If you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and dive on in. So we do have this Mid-Autumn Festival going on, and, well, it is the second instance of these chained bundles, which, I mean, we knew they weren't going to be a great deal because whenever someone's like, oh, it's such a great deal, it isn't, especially when it comes to wargaming, because a lot of times they give you things that you're not really looking for. So, that's an example here. So, in order to get the new ship, the Fenyang, it's a tier 6 destroyer, you will need to purchase all of these bundles. So 1,000 for 24 camos right there. Then another 1,800 bringing you up to 2,800 for 6 big fall crates. Then another 4,500 bringing us up to 28 plus 45 is 4, 5, 6, 6,300, and then another 10,000 for Fenyang. So 16,000 and change in order to acquire a tier 6 Pan-Asian destroyer. Yeah, seems just like a price hike on new destroyers with, just more steps in the way. I'm not a fan of these chained bundles, but okay, let's see what else we have in the shop. Well, we do have the Atago. It's back, which is nice. Is it currently available in the shop at all, or is it? Let's see. No Atago here, right? No, it is. So instead, if you don't have 750,000 global XP, I guess you could go and spend 17,500 ship XP. That's a choice. Then you have these 3 camos, which, hey, these were the camos that were available to you if you basically got these ships in early access and completed challenges with them. So it is nice to see that they are offering them again. You could buy them for 5,000 doubloons if you feel that you want one of these, and hey, maybe you do. I don't think they're worth it, but they're here in the shop, so that's okay. Then we get to these two, Honghe and Loyang. And the interesting thing about this is both of these ships are currently available, but these limited bundles are basically just charging you more in order to get the special camo that comes along with them. Right now, you could buy the Honghe in the shop for 10,000 doubloons, and for 2,000 more now you can receive what is really the star of the Honghe, this beautiful camo. It's radiant is the word that can only be used to describe it because it is just glowing. Or you can spend an extra, some extra doubloons, 500 more doubloons. Well, actually, Loyang available for GXP, so 750,000. You can spend, 500 more? Yeah, 500 more than what is normally the price of a tier 7 premium to get its fun camo. And Loyang is a good ship, but I would once again recommend that you go the global XP route if you are so inclined to want this vessel. Then we get to these festive outfits, and like, no one buy this. No one buy this. What these are is, remember those camos that cost us 1,000 over here? Yeah, they're those, but upgrade to level 4. So you could either A, come over here, spend 1,000 doubloons, create permanent camos for Shimakaze and Yamato, for just like the picture here, and then upgrade them with paint from your other commandos, or pay Wargaming 5,000 for 2 permanent camos. Please don't do that. Use the camos that we get a ton of. Beyond that, in the shop, there are a bunch of other things in the store. I don't think any of it's going to be worth it. Don't worry about it. The one thing you need to pick up is in the shop, there is a set of missions to get a free tier 5 premium. So that is 100% what I recommend you do. It is to get the Mutsu, which I'll be honest, is not the best tier 5 premium. But if you don't have a tier 5 premium or you don't have Mutsu yet, go and do this mission set. Especially because whenever Wargaming decides to give out another, tier Super V crate, Super 5 crate, if you don't want Mutsu, this is a way to get Mutsu removed from that drop pool at no extra charge. You just have to do these missions, which are to play Japanese and Pan-Asian boats from tier 3 to legendary tier, and to do these missions. So go do that. That is the smart thing to do with this update. Go get your free tier 5. But with all that said, let's now dive into a game with the new tier 6 ship. So then, welcome to the Fenyang. Now, what is the Fenyang? It probably looks familiar to you. It is an Akizuki style hull, and it comes with a couple of the pluses and minuses of that hull, but brought over the Pan-Asians. Now, one thing before we get in, after recording that first half of the video, I did realize that you can in fact go into the shop and there is a window to purchase the ship without having to do the chained bundles. So you can purchase it for 12,500 doubloons. I probably still wouldn't do that. Okay, so Akizuki style hull / Kitakaze style hull. What are the pluses and minuses? Well, the big thing is going to be the guns. There are 100mm guns, and if you know anything about this game, you know that standard HE pens at 1/6, so you're looking at about 16mm of pen. Thankfully, Fenyang, unlike the Northern Dragon, which is another Akizuki style hull brought over to the Pan-Asians, does actually receive a better HE pen. The pen is just magically 20mm, which means the HE is actually usable on this vessel, as opposed to on like stuff like Northern Dragon. So you will be able to actually do damage, and that is kind of where the main thing is with these guns. You're looking at about a 5-second reload with the guns. The HE does about 1,600 damage per shot, and as you can see there, you can absolutely chunk some of the tier 6 destroyers, and that is what Fenyang is going to be very, very good for, is hunting down those destroyers. Chance of fire on the guns is also pretty decent, 8%, which, when you have 8 shells flying through the air, you do tend to set a good amount of fires. Now, as with all of the other Pan-Asian destroyers, it does also have the access to the AP, and the AP can absolutely slap. It's kind of going to be your main damage dealer, especially when you're facing anything with 20mm of armor or more, like, battleships, where you can fire up into the superstructure to get just a little bit more damage. Max AP damage on those, 2,100, and your firing range on the guns is 11.2 kilometers. Now, the guns, of course, one way to deal damage. The other big way to deal damage with this vessel is going to be the torpedoes, and the torpedoes are particularly deadly, and you could maybe build into them. I don't know if I would 100%, but the torpedoes, you have one launcher of 610mm torpedoes. As you can see, they are the traditional Pan-Asian deep water torpedoes, i.e. they're going to be very stealthy, cause floods at a higher chance, and these things pack a huge punch, 23,767 damage per hit, which is absolutely massive. Torpedo range is going to be 12 kilometers, and they're going to go 67 knots. So good range, decent speed, huge damage, and their reload time is only 50 seconds. So you can really start cycling them relatively quickly. Now, as far as the consumables on the ship, you've seen us already use the smoke screen. It is that standard Pan-Asian smoke screen that is probably one of the better ones in the game. 30-second deploy time, 131-second uptime, 2 charges of it. There is a there is a engine boost, and then you can see we also have a defensive AA consumable, which you saw just knocked out a ton of enemy aircraft right there. The AA overall, I would call it serviceable to decent for the tier. The outer ring is at 5 kilometers and does 83 damage, which then the inner ring is 3.5 kilometers, and it does 70 damage per second. So you have a decent amount of AA there, but it's not the best. Anyway, Icarus pops up here. You can see us attempt to use the AP. At this range, the AP is just kind of sailing through him, so we're going to end up having to switch on over to the HE. And when we do that, you can see we are just able to successfully chunk this Icarus for a large amount of damage and take on our third ship for the round. Now, I will say this wasn't the original game I had planned to show off, but the original game got corrupted, so here we are. The final kind of stat you want to be aware of is the concealment. With our build, we're not running any sort of concealment stat other than a bay as an inspiration, but we're running a full mortar kind of build with the extra detectability that comes with mortar. So the concealment on this vessel can be pretty good, though we're not really running it to its full potential. And with that, I guess we should get into my thoughts. Is this a strong boat? Kinda. I'm someone who doesn't really like. There are times where I enjoy the Kitakaze hull, but I just don't think this one really has everything there. There are other tier 6 premium destroyers that I'd prefer to be in over the Fenyang. This ship, I was getting my engine knocked all the time in it. I don't know if that's just a weakness of it, so I guess you could take this into arcade and it would be particularly deadly in the arcade game modes. Beyond that, we still have the big weaknesses of the hull, which are its immense turning circle, which just kind of let you down from time to time. But overall, it's an okay ship. I'm sure people will love it. They'll say it's really strong. I think I would still pull a kid if I had to go find a gunboat. But anyways, guys, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.